We will call tonight's meeting to order. Tonight we will have the mission statement read by Eric Fong.
Inspiring curiosity and connection.
Thank you. And we will have welcome and introductions read by Jason Driver, Library Director.
Sorry, it's closer. Good evening. With us tonight, full house. We've got Executive Assistant Tammy Jeffries. We've got Director of IT and Facilities Maintenance. I'm going to go to the other side of the room, Mike Rose. We've got Director of Strategy and Communication, Jeannie Allen. We have the Executive Directors at Kitsap Regional Library Foundation, Wendy Kyle. And we also have Director of Human Resources, Chandra Tellerico. We have Deputy Director of Finance and Chief Operating Officer, Dan Bayer, and special guest is among us, Janae Parr, our Training and Development Specialist, who will deliver our mission moment to the board. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor
Motioning
on the agenda? Any changes?
on. We don't need to.
We don't need to do that, okay. We'll have, we have any public comment at this time? Per the Public Engagement Board policy, this time is designated for all residents of Kitsap County to present public comments. The public comment time is set aside for listening to feedback from the community without discussion or debate. With the speakers are asked to follow the Public Comment Board guidelines, which provide instruction and limitations to the public comment. That includes anonymous comments, forwarded emails of others' remarks, comments pertaining to personnel issues, and those that don't align with the library standards of patron conduct, library policy. If you do wish to speak in person, please sign in with your name, organization, affiliation, if speaking as a representation of the group, and topic of interest. If you wish to share your public comment virtually, please submit a registration form. Please note that up to 3 minutes is allotted per person. Thank you. Tonight, we do have one, which is Deb Montez with WPEA updates.
She's unable to be here, but she said the remote link is invalid. She can't get it to work to read the statement, but I'm happy to do so if that's allowed.
Okay.
Yes, Chelsea Pemberton. Okay, let me pull this up, sorry. I apologize, I wasn't. Okay.
Chelsea, when you start, just pull the mic really close to you so we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay. Hello. This is to the Kitsap Regional Library Board of Trustees. It has come to our attention that the Director of Public Services position has been posted. We, the WPEA represented employees of Kitsap Regional Library, are voicing our concerns regarding certain points of this job posting. Education requirements. While this position suggests an MLIS, a Master of Library and Information Science, it does not require it and even goes so far as to state that a comparable public administration master's degree with equivalent public sector tenure may suffice, not requiring the position that will oversee the library operations, including programming, to have an education equivalent to or higher than the librarians they will oversee, devalues the work librarians must undertake in order to enter this field. Additionally, it directly violates RCW 27.04.055, which states, no library operated by the state or under its authority may have in its employ In the position of librarian or in any other full-time professional library position, a person who does not hold a librarian's certificate issued by the state librarian or its predecessor. A full-time professional library position is one that requires, in the opinion of the state librarian, a knowledge of information resources and library/information service delivery equivalent to that required for graduation from an accredited library education program. Additionally, end quote. Additionally, removal of deputy status. The posted vacancy lacks the distinction of deputy director, leaving the only deputy director of the library as the CFO, who primarily works remotely from Olympia and does not hold a Master of Library and Information Science. It is imperative that the position of the Director of Public Services be held to the standard required of all professional library positions. We ask the board to consider reviewing the position posting with the concerns we've stated in mind and make the appropriate adjustments. Sincerely, Kitsap Regional Library's WPEA represented employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that was our only public comment of the evening. So now we will move on with the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion of the Board of Trustees with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired, items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. Tonight we have minutes of the June 23rd regular board meeting and payment of the June 2026 expenditures and the surplus library materials withdrawn from the collection of June 2026. Motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
I abstain.
All right. Motion passes. All right, then we will move on to presentations, reports, and briefings. We're going to go into our mission moments. Learning grants, Janae Parr, Training and Development Specialist. Welcome.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope my font is going to be large enough. But good evening. I wanted to share a mission moment about how a little curiosity turned into an opportunity of service for our team. My name is Janae Parr. I am the Training and Development Specialist at the library. Within HR, we have 6 team members who work the various functions that you see on the screen. I make up the entirety of the training team. When I started about 4.5 months ago, I was provided a set of professional development materials and grant resources really meant for exploring during my needs assessment for KRL and for planning into next year and 2027. Rather than wait, I did just dive right in, and I found some free resources like Web Junction, First Tuesdays from the Washington State Library, and some individual and group grant opportunities that can total up to $12,000, as well as some additional specific grants available that I'm still exploring. But in other words, there are a lot of resources available to us that we aren't necessarily taking full advantage of at this moment, but we are going to be doing so now. And the process for the grant opportunity, as I was looking into it, I identified a few opportunities that we had to apply for this year. So I acted on it, and on 6/5, I submit the first grant application, and 3 days later was awarded the $1,000 grant for one of our individuals going to a conference. Since then, I've applied for 3 more grants, so 4 total grants awarded for almost $4,000, and that was just with what we had available left to apply for. So more to come in 2027. This is not just about winning grants, although that is a great time. It is to expand our professional learning, strengthen employee development programs, build opportunities within the organization to better support our team members who serve our community every day, giving them more tools in their toolbox. Going forward, I do plan to apply earlier in the cycle to try and capture as much as that $12,000 as we can for the full funding while it is available within the Washington State Library system. And I've already built in grant seeking directly into our professional development application process that we have. So this isn't a one-time win, it is a habit. So my goal is to grow the number of grants that we win year over year. When we apply in 2027, we will be able to do so with greater ease. So I'm very excited about that. And in summary, curiosity isn't just one of our values. It helped us uncover new opportunities that strengthen our learning across KRL and the services we provide to our team members and ultimately to our whole community. Thank you.
Questions? Comments?
Lock it. Awesome.
So you said you just started a few months ago?
Yeah, about 4.5 months. Yes.
Your award rate is astounding.
I know. Pretty impressive, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Great job.
Thank you. Awesome. Any other questions or applause to me? Thank you all.
I'll jump in just to say, yeah, Janae started a couple months ago as a training development specialist. We've had 2 or 3 now, and so far the data bodes well for her being a long-term KRL employee. I just want to really lift up Janae and HR in general for their continued ability to try to find things like this that work for the organization, and particularly in offsetting the cost of trainings can be pretty expensive. We've centered ourselves as a training and learning organization, and that's what we do. And so to be able to have the ability to find grants to offset the training costs for the organization has been huge for us. And so just really want to lift up Janae for her ability to kind of hit the ground running right away and feel like she's a part of the team. It didn't take long for her to start to get involved with staff, figuring out the training needs for the organization, and she's even done some niche trainings, part of which you'll hear about in my board report, for staff who need specific training and development around certain issues. And so I just really wanted to lift her up and HR in general. Thank you for the presentation.
I really appreciate my team too. A lot of help from them, so thank you. Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right, well, let's go right into our hearing from our board members.
No updates from me. I don't.
Oh, you're going to leave it up to me? All right. Well, I will start off with shouting out our adult librarian at ML King, Tyler. They came onto the Conduit, which is my podcast. I've taken over for Priya. It's been some time. And they were talking about the graphic novel book club that they have and Job Now. And if people don't know about Job Now and what it can do, it's just really amazing. And one of the big things is, having the ability to do the mock interviews, which is really terrifying and scary, and getting that feedback. And so in this climate of, AI and trying to find, those jobs that are really hard to find, just being able to utilize that resource of Job Now is just really a hidden gem. And so, please tap into the library. There's a lot of really cool things. And Tyler and the team down there are just really doing some awesome stuff. And the graphic novel book club, one, I like that, but they're doing so many cool things down there at ML King, so just check it out. Also, don't want to forget that it hit 90 degrees a few times, and the libraries do serve as cooling centers, and so they're always doing just so many different things. The library, not only in the wintertime, but also in the summertime, just supporting so many different patrons in different ways, so I don't want to forget that. And then also that the Senior Resource Fair is coming up. Peninsula Community Health is supporting the Kitsap Regional Library. So that's Saturday, August 8th at 10 a.m. Out there at 9981 Central Valley Road. So that's a big deal for the seniors. So I just wanted to plug that as well. So that is my report. And now we will go on to, where am I at? The finance report for Eric Sisney.
Yeah, there's not much to report. We're doing well, and that's about, I mean, we're just doing fine. So that's about all I can say, I guess, unless Jason or Dan has more to report.
No, there's nothing really else to report on this month, which is the way I like it, but there are footnotes in there for anything that is out of the ordinary in terms of expenditures year to date, but there's explanations for that. So any questions, I'll be glad to take it.
All right. Any questions for Dan? All right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, let's go to the director's report. Jason?
Is that the Finance Committee report or was that all combined? The committee all combined? Okay, got it. All right, so I'll hop right to it. This is better for me, even though I'm right-handed. I'm left reading, so thank you, I'm here all day. So, good evening, trustees. The report really reflects strong community engagement in June. As you know, summer learning is in full swing. June really was a time to reflect on what happens with summer learning, right? It's all about stemming the summer slide. And to that extent, our library workers were out in full force with strong community visibility, steady services, and lots of meaningful recognition we talked about in our report this month for staff during the second quarter. But June highlighted a lot of engagement for summer learning, strong digital engagement on the technology side, and it just really reaffirms that the library is a hub in our community. And so also a major theme last month was just, that community impact I talked about. And across branches, summer learning really launched with a lot of momentum, particularly around the new program components and the book giveaways and public programs drew large participation across the library district. Outreach partnerships have been expanded, and then we've had lots of in-branch programs that have been particularly strong. Just noting North Kitsap's, Port Orchard's, Manchester, and Paulsbo, really reinforcing that our programs are rife with curiosity and connection and visibility. And then, another theme that I always hear in the community is a library as a trusted space. And that's been true since I've gotten here. That's been true since I was in Chicago. Libraries are universally looked at as trusted spaces. And to that end, we have a lot of visibility and a lot of engagement. And sometimes that comes with a lot of services that we weren't intended to meet, namely a lot of the unhoused populations that have descended upon MLK, which has caused a great deal of uptick in terms of incidents and also really a lot of stress from staff. And so to that end, one of the trainings that I alluded to earlier in talking about Ms. Parr here is her ability to dive into MLK and really support staff with some niche trainings that were really about just recognizing the fact that staff are going through a bit of trauma here and there, depending on the event and the day and what's happening, and to be able to provide some emergency self-care, which is really essential for us as we support both our patrons, which we have a duty to do, and also balancing that against also, enforcing the patron code of conduct and in making sure employees have the requisite tools they need and encouraging the necessary respite in order to balance all those things. So I'm really proud of HR's ability to jump in and do that. And so it was an exciting month. I spent the part of the month at ALA. Unfortunately, you know why that got interrupted, but had an opportunity training-wise to really get into an all-day pre-conference training that I signed up and Mike signed up for as well based on what's happening with Sylvan Way. And so we had an opportunity to talk to other library leaders and be trained by a library leader who spent the better part of her career in the facilities management sector in terms of in the construction field. And so it was pretty much an A to Z tutorial on how to take a construction project essentially from its inception to completion. And we got a chance to learn about all the different construction styles. We got a chance to have a lot of exchanges with other library directors and professionals who are in that space, and it was definitely well worth the trip. I think a lot of things that we're going through with our particular bond measure were reinforced there, and also really informed where we are in the decision that we made to pause the bond. I think, in considering that a bond hasn't been done at Kitsap Regional Library since circa 1977 or so, that's a long time, and nobody in this library has experience with that. And so it was an audacious task, but we made that decision, unfortunately, to pause the bond. And I say not unfortunately, because I think the benefit of doing that is that we get a chance to engage deeper with the community, get a chance to engage deeper with what the needs are. And this is a complex project. It's a project that doesn't entail just plopping a new library on the land, but it also involves potential partnerships. It involves an opportunity to figure out a service center and to make sure we have usable space for the next 50 years and beyond. So I'm excited that we have time and we have an opportunity. And it also, lastly, gives us a chance to develop more of a long-range facilities plan for the 2 buildings we do own. And so for Sylvan Way and Paulsville, there are some needs. There are some meeting needs in the community. We have space considerations. We are still going to scale and build out mobile, so it allows us an opportunity to look at our internal space needs and figure out how we can serve our staff better right now in that space, because regardless of where we landed this November and if we were going to bond, that process takes a while, even from a bond passage to breaking ground and completing. That's several years, and so we still have several years, just maybe one more year added on. And so I always say anything worth doing is worth doing well, and we need to take the time to figure that out. And so I'm proud that collectively we've gotten to that point. And then operationally, June was steady as it goes with circulation. We were essentially flat in June, from June 25 to now, but there are several factors that contributed to that, as there always are with various closures and things of that nature. But digital borrowing, we've continued to see rise and rose by almost 10% in the month, and nearly 8% over the year. And technology use, again, is really strong, with over 9,600 public computer sessions and over almost 150,000 pages printed, with about 6,500 database sessions. So all showing notable year-over-year increases, which tells me the library is well engaged. And certainly it looks differently before, but a lot of our engagement, and it's all over the place, and it really depends on the season in libraries. And then in terms of celebrations, June was a month not only to celebrate summer reading, summer learning, summer engagement programs, community work, but to celebrate us. Most notably, starting with the communications and marketing team, picked up their 3rd John Cotton Dana Award on behalf of the library for media relations. And so it's a testament to our Director of Strategy and Communication, Jeannie Allen's leadership, and then and specifically management by Victoria and the whole team to really create an engaging and successful campaign for our 80-year anniversary. So Director of Facilities and IT, Mike Rose, and myself got a chance to celebrate with Jeannie Allen and her team and be a part of their award-winning ceremony on the 27th. I think it was that Friday. And so really proud of the work that communications has done. It's 3 pieces of hardware, and I think we're going to be going for more. Jeannie, did you want to, it would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to say a little bit about the JCD, what it is, what was the impetus behind going forward, other than it was stellar work? I want to turn the floor over to you.
Yeah, so the team that we're working with now, for them, this is their first John Cotton Dana, and so in the world of libraries, it's referred to as the Oscar of Libraries. It's one of the most prestigious awards you can get in public libraries, and so we really built the 80-year campaign with the intention of applying for that award so that they would have the opportunity to work through a process that they could be proud of and that could build into something like this. So I'm really excited that they got to have that experience, and also that the motivation for that award was kind of driving a lot of what was coming behind the campaign and really made that campaign successful as well. So really excited for the team.
Thank you, Jeannie. And congratulations again. Another point of congratulations goes to the Kitsap Regional Library Foundation, who was the first recipient of the Port Gamble S'Klallam Tribe's Community Investment Grant at the tune of $100,000. And so it's a testament not only to, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Leanne's work. Leanne Winterout is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, she's the reason we got this grant. And the reason I say that is because, you know, since I've been here, I've had a habit of going out and connecting with the community, talking with the community, understanding the community. Very early on, me and a couple directors had so first process, I met with Tommy Whalen, who was a former branch manager of Little Boston, had a conversation about the branch, what was happening. What I do know about Little Boston, and Tommy was phenomenal, but she was a member of the tribe. So for the tribe to have embraced Leanne Winterout as she's the regional branch manager for both Kingston and Little Boston. And so for those who don't know, Little Boston is also located in Kingston, but it sits on tribal land, but it's not a tribal library. But the tribe has built the building, provides support of the building. Like a lot of our relationships with building partners, the return on that investment for building that is that we provide the materials, staff, resources, programs, and so forth and so on. But what I've been reminded of in my talks with the tribal members is how inspirational and how transformative the relationships have been since Leanne has come aboard as manager. And so I think from what I've noticed in the times I've been out, and this really was, you know, when Michelle Swaddish was the youth services librarian, she brought kids in, and it's not that our previous youth services librarian, Anna Cooperl, did not, but I think what we saw is a change of voices. Sometimes you have a change in responsiveness, and you have a different season of leadership even within the tribe, and the stars really align for us to have more visibility and more impact, and it's just been seen in a different way. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention and call out Leanne, because I think she's you know, really responsible for us getting this grant. And I'm going to turn it over to Wendy to say a few more words. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but Wendy's the recipient on behalf of the library, so I want to allow Wendy the opportunity to chime in there. Wendy.
Yeah, I will say yes, this gift is absolutely a reflection of the relationship that has been built there, and truly a reflection of the service that Leanne and all of the team there provides to that community. And it's also just a reflection of the deep trust and love that has been built between the tribe and the library system in general, and the support they know that the library provides to that community and to the community as a whole. So this gift was given unrestricted, really, to support not just obviously that branch and the services that the library can provide there, but for the whole system. And so as in Jason's report, he noted, you know, this is an unrestricted gift. Every year the foundation makes a commitment to the library about how much funding it will be providing to the library that year for summer learning, to the library, for the Share Our Stories, for all the different activities and programs and needs that the library has that will be augmented by the foundation that either the library can't use the public funds to support, or that just help extend the impact of the public funds that the levy provides. So I think I want to just share, echoing Jason's statement that it is very rare for a public library to be operating on the reservation. There's definitely lots of tribal libraries, but this is definitely a rare collaboration that we have with Port Gamble Sklallam Tribe and their PR, their foundation and PR firm has been trying to really uncover the data around what percentage of, how often is this actually happening in the United States, and we haven't been able to really uncover that. So that will be a good research project for somebody one day. But some really fun facts I want to share. We've had a tremendous, and I realize I probably should have gotten numbers from Jeannie too, because they've shared on their social as well. But the foundation shared the social, shared on social that we received this gift. And it is now our most engaged post ever, with over 12,000 views and 379 interactions. So literally our highest engagement ever of any post, and lots of positive comments about the love for the library and just the joy of seeing the tribe and library connect and support each other in the way that they're doing. The tribe also received a tremendous amount of engagement from their post, over 16,000 views and over 400 interactions, or nearly 400 interactions at this point, which is actually, talking to their PR person, very much on par with their cultural events that they share. Whenever they're sharing cultural events, those are very much what the community really engages with, and this is pretty on par with that. So, and also seeing the same really generous comments from the community and a lot of love and support all the way around. So all in all, I would say that just from the foundation, we are just deeply honored to be the steward of this gift and to steward the love and support and trust that has been built there for all these years, which began in 1979. So it's been a long relationship, and it's exciting to be able to steward this gift. So thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. And just summing up 3 points, very eloquent report, both Wendy and Jeannie. 3 points: community impact is strong, visible through summer and outreach, and libraries are trusted public servants. And you'll get that in a minute when Jeannie goes through the survey results. And that is notable too, that upon the release of our patron satisfaction survey, I think we hit high marks. I mean, there's always room for improvement, I always say, with all of us, but I think the library as a whole is trending that way. And then secondly, the organization has a lot of good validation for the work we do through John Cotton Dana and through the Community Investment Grant. And lastly, core service remains strong. So if you want to back that up with stats, it shows that people are using the library. And so taken all together, it's all of that reaffirms that it's why I came here. This is a great library system. It's an impactful system for this community, and that's all I have. Any questions? I'll take them.
Any questions for Jason? We don't have any questions, but if I may, can we just give a round of applause for the 2 awards? I just think it's really important that we acknowledge that, and that's not lost. Thank you. That was old business. We're going to go into new business, which is the collective bargaining agreement. Is there anything that we need to touch on here? Or are we just going right into executive
skip over
session?
And I don't see it listed here, maybe it got deleted. We do have, after my report should have been a report about the patron satisfaction survey. Perhaps there was an error in diligent.
It's actually connected on my notes to your report.
Okay, so let's move into that. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm actually not done. I'll retract that statement.
Continue, please.
My apologies to the board. I'm not done. I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie to talk through that, the aforementioned patron satisfaction survey. Jeannie, the floor is yours.
Good evening. All right, so I'll try and move through this. It's a lot, so I'll cover what I can here. So annually, we plan activities to gather feedback from our community, ensuring our direction continues to support community need and allowing us to explore areas for growth. The survey that we did at the beginning of this year focuses most specifically on the voices of our active patrons. So feedback in this particular instance is really focused on our spaces, services, and staff. Just to note, this particular survey does not capture the voices of our non-patron residents. We do have other ways that we do that, but we don't usually get those voices through the channels that we use for this particular survey. So from December to May, we heard from approximately 1,420 library users. Let's see if I'm on the right slide here. There we go. Nearly all of whom are cardholders, and 75 of those responses were also library staff. So this survey included quantitative and open-ended qualitative responses.
I know that lady.
Controlling this from 2 spaces. Okay. So we'll start right here. Through this survey, patrons consistently describe Kitsap Regional Library not just as a place to borrow materials, but as an essential community infrastructure that supports learning, belonging, well-being, and opportunity. Of all the ways our patrons find out about the library, our email, website, and in-branch interactions significantly outperform our social media and our external outreach channels. We have high interaction with in-branch channels, which is indicated, and continued strong value of library spaces as a critical community hub. Is easier to do from there. This survey primarily reflects high engagement and established library users. So while approximately 11% of our Kitsap residents over 25 have graduate degrees, 46% of our respondents answered this question. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused here. Okay, I'm where I'm at. The census shows that about 66% of Kitsap residents own, compared to the 81% surveyed, and the Kitsap census shows nearly every demographic, or shows nearly even demographics of men and women in Kitsap County, while you can see from the survey here that we have about 79% of women represented. So in our survey, you'll also see that we have strong engagement from our caregivers of children, from women, which we just covered, and from longtime Kitsap residents. Compared to our census data, you'll see that we have underrepresentation of older adults, renters, and those with less formal education. We also have less representation of our Spanish and Latino communities. So that really highlights an opportunity to reach out to these communities to capture their voices and make sure that we're creating spaces and services that are representative of these communities as well. So right at the top of our survey, we learn that the library is essential to community life. We asked 3 questions about satisfaction with the library in this survey, and 92% are very satisfied or satisfied with the library overall. 93% are satisfied with their last visit to the library, and overall 93% say the library is very important or essential to their homes. This is an extremely high customer satisfaction survey with the library, and just shows how instrumental the library is in the lives of our community. Patrons consistently describe the library as essential to their quality of life and community well-being, sharing values like learning, connection, economic support, and well-being as central to the reason why the library gets this high satisfaction rating. When we ask what area the library has the greatest impact, our patrons cite the library's impact in education, emotional, economic, and civic infrastructures. You can see that access to our collections, lifelong learning, and early literacy in kids are the highest on this survey. So our library supports lifelong learning, literacy development, and multi-generational connection, and 50% of our respondents spoke to the impact of the library specifically on literacy for our youth. When we ask what is one area of service that could benefit from improvement, 11% of our patrons talked about aspects of customer service. 31 talked about our collections, with another 15% talking about holds and wait times specifically, and 14% cited aspects of physical spaces, while 22% shared different aspects of accessing digital resources. Overwhelmingly, our staff are central to everything that makes the library essential. Human connection drives trust, and our staff are really the reason for that 93% satisfaction rating. While only a small percentage of our constructive feedback, 11%, also offers opportunities for growth in this area. Biggest areas of growth are ensuring our staff levels are met, strengthening the consistency of services across branches, and working on basic customer service skills. Another area that was really highlighted was our collections, and how they're directly tied to educational access, economic support, and quality of life. So more now than in the past, feedback that patrons are highlighting the economic reliefs of the library. That was a theme that seemed to bubble up more than I've seen in past surveys. And when we ask what one service we can improve, 31% of respondents name the collection, specifically difficulties navigating the technology that we use to connect our patrons to the collection, long wait times, and incomplete series. In our spaces, we asked what they value most about the library, and 40% responded our spaces, specifically how our staff create spaces that are calm environments and a place of welcoming and belonging. Also within our spaces, we had about 14% of people talk about opportunities, such as noisy spaces making it hard to read, not enough room for study and meeting, and some of the comfortability aspects of our branches. Oops. I don't know which way I'm going with this. Okay. This is interesting because it came up today in Jason's talk, which is the library overwhelmingly is talked about in this survey as a trusted public resource. So patrons celebrate the library for assisting them with saving money, providing support during hardship, supporting career development and small businesses. They consistently describe the library as safe, calm, welcoming, and emotionally supportive, and point to the library as a refuge and providing stability for the community. So the next aspect is digital experiences. While 32% of our respondents say they visit our digital site, such as Libby website and our app, more than once a week, 35% cite technical access and resources is one of the most important things the library offers. 22% share frustration with the usability of online resources, specifically navigating Libby and OneDrive, navigating websites and difficulty searching, and password access and access issuing or access to their user accounts. Overwhelmingly, patrons also talk about how they increasingly rely on Libby, ebooks, audiobooks, the online catalog, and their digital accounts. So how does this all tie in to who we are as an organization? We looked at these findings against our strategic plan. We looked for areas of alignment with the places where we are the strongest, and our strengths highlight the investment that we're already making in these areas are essential. We also look for alignment in the strategic goals that we're currently working on and the direction that we're going, and all of the opportunities that have been highlighted by our patrons are outlined in our strategic plan as opportunities to continue to work on these areas. So in our strategic priority of fostering welcoming and belonging, we continue to see opportunities to expand outreach, make the library more accessible for more languages, and continue engaging community to understand how we can better serve underrepresented areas. In our strategic priority of building collective impact, patrons increasingly view the library as a hub for community collaboration and support and a shared space for social connection. And as we talk about our priority of thriving ahead, the survey strongly supports continued investment in technology, facilities, and accessibility. So to summarize our greatest opportunities for our patron experience, supporting our staff to strengthen consistency and ensure we have sufficient staffing capabilities in our branches will best support our patron experience. In collections, reviewing access and wait times and looking for opportunities to improve discoverability. In our spaces, we'll continue to strive for flexibility, comfort, and accessibility with every update that we're making. In areas of technology, simplifying digital experiences and improving navigation and technology. And in our community, continuing to work to build trust and bring the voices of our underrepresented communities into these surveys and our feedback. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you for this. I think it's great to see that. I mean, there's always areas for improvement, but just an affirmation of the hard work that everyone's done and being on the right track. My question is around service and consistency. Is that a feeling that there's not enough staff?
The service and consistency is specifically, it was speaking to how people receive service in different branches. So they felt like inconsistency in the way that they're interacting with the patrons, the instructions they're receiving, application of library policies and.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to expound on that a little bit because over my about 27 years in libraries, that's, I think, common in any multi-branch system. There are often nuances in the way services are delivered based on the communities that they're in. And sometimes there may be variations. You know, holding policy is important, but the ability to navigate policy to ensure the best possible services are received by patrons, that might look different from place to place based on the community. So a lot of that feedback,
Sure.
the way I take it, doesn't mean it's a criticism on our staff or being uneven. Just in my experience, and just trying to translate what might be happening, I think there's always opportunities for us to have some consistency in service, but I think what we're probably seeing is that maybe a patron in Kingston has a different way that staff engage with them based on the logistics of the branch, how it's set up, availability of like where holds are. So there are a lot of things that go into that. That's not to say that we won't look internally at ensuring, and that's why we're doing a year of customer service. We paused a little bit, but we'll be getting back into the realm of what are the things that we'd like to see us all do well.
Yeah,
But-
completely understand.
Yeah.
You can give the same instruction to two people. One person's really happy about it, and the other person, it's not the right kind of service they need. So it's not. I didn't consider this a reflection of staff. Just understanding where what that interpretation is from the patrons' experience.
Correct.
So, yeah. Okay.
Right.
And I'd also just like to emphasize, like, we asked our patrons to give us these opportunities. Everything that we shared here today, it's anywhere from like 10 to 20 people highlighting these things out of 1,400. So it's good to look at these as opportunities for us to reflect on what we're doing, but also there's nothing that bubbled to the top as something that is a serious issue that we need to address. It's just opportunities for us to kind of reflect on, is this something that we need to put a little bit more thought into or a little bit more resources into? So overwhelmingly, our patrons, most of what they had to share is just how grateful and how much love they have for the library. So.
And now we're done.
Now you're done?
Thank you. Director's report done, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie.
All right, so now we're going to go into executive session to discuss the collective bargaining agreement. I'm going to read this. Executive session, if there are no objections, we will now enter into executive session. We will take about 15 minutes. What time is it right now? It is 6:22, so we'll come back at 6:37. And if we need more time, we will at that point. And that is what we'll do. Bring the meeting back. And now that we are back, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement.
I move that we approve the collective bargaining agreement.
One more time.
Okay. I move that we approve the collective bargaining agreement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, then that is passed.
I just want to add a couple words about the acknowledgement of both sides of the table, our internal negotiation team on administration and our partners on the union side and the collective organization of the Washington Public Employees Association. I think anytime you do a contract, and what I've learned and learned early in my career is that the goal is to, it's by nature an adversarial process, but it does not mean we have to be adversaries. I just want to mention there's a lot of work that goes into this process on both sides. There's a lot of considerations that have to be made in terms of the allowances for staff to take part in bargaining, and it's a sacrifice on both sides of the table for time. I've always been told that the time you spend is valuable in any respects. Obviously, people are compensated for that, but you can't ever get back your time. I want to acknowledge the work that's done on both sides of the table, though, because it's hard work. It's speaking on behalf of classifications of employees. It's a lot of coordination and communication. This is fourth contract since I've been here, third. And so each time they're different compositions of people who go into this process. And I just want to acknowledge it is a partnership. I've said it's a partnership since I've gotten here. It will continue to be a partnership. Partnership is work. And we're going to continue to roll up our sleeves through labor management meetings and to continue to mend the fences. And I'm proud of this contract. I think when done well, both sides give up stuff and you reach a consensus. And so I'm proud of this collective bargaining, its successor collective bargaining agreement. And I'm grateful to the board for voting for its passage in this board meeting, and look forward to getting the contract out in force and getting management and supervisors and the workforce trained on the particulars in the contract. So I just want to acknowledge the work that's gone, thank our partners, and thank our internal teams. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. A little bit of housekeeping. Our future meeting date, Tuesday, August 25th, Long Range Strategic Planning Committee, and then that's at 4:30, and at 5:30 will be our Board of Trustees monthly meeting. Dates to remember, please visit our Kitsap Regional Library webpage. And that will be it for this meeting. This meeting is adjourned.